West Cruise Station made it to this graffiti-laden area where there's just paint and shit all over the place. As I make my way to the bus station to take me south down to Prague, where I'll stay for a night, and then I'll continue along south to Brno, stay for another night, and then I will make my way west to Vienna, Austria, to jump on a plane to head very far east to Bangkok, Thailand. I'll get out of this ruthless cold, this overcast skies, to some incredibly sunny skies and some heat and probably some unwanted humidity as well. So we'll see how that goes. I like Thailand, so sure it'll be a treat. And what else to share? I don't know. I'll do a wrap up of Berlin. Try to think where to start. Maybe I'll just talk about the wall. It was interesting to see. There's plenty to learn about it. I learned a little bit. I shared a little bit of the stories of what the wall was all about and how people got over it. I didn't talk about what it did to people's lives, and I think the short story is that it tore families apart, it divided people, completely disrupted their lives, and in a number of ways. And it fucked up the psyche of a lot of people too. You see people in East Berlin now who are just kind of walking around like zombies with their head kind of tilted down and their eyes moving left to right, just scanning an area, but seemingly without direction. So that's, seeing that, you can see that that's the product of being enclosed behind a wall for many, many years. It's what it does to a society. So luckily the wall's gone now, and people who've suffered like that are going to suffer less because they're no longer being confined and contained. But it's a pretty interesting experience to see the fallout from a governmental system that just obviously didn't work, and people risked their lives to escape it, and many perished. The backdrop, the reason why they built the wall, I don't think I touched on this, was that people were leaving the east to head west for opportunities, financial and career, and they were leaving at such a rate that the government decided they need to do something about it. And that's when the GDR, German Democratic Republic, originally put barbed wire down. I guess they did it overnight, just one random night. They decided, all right boys, let's fence them in. And so they threw down this barbed wire just to establish the initial border, and people were not allowed to cross the barbed wire. And so there's videotape of people, of neighbors, like shaking hands over the barbed wire, and that was it. It was just the division between the east and west was just barbed wire, just a roll of barbed wire, maybe 2 feet wide. And then slowly but surely they brought in other items to go from the barbed wire to a wall that would be a bit more challenging to scale and get over. And then eventually they created that larger wall and the no man's land, and they added all these other elements, dogs and watchtowers and tripwires. And I guess every move they made to embolden the that area further isolated the entire population from the rest of the world, really. So that was thousands upon thousands of people whose lives were disrupted and totally fucked up in numerous ways, psychologically, emotionally, relationally, financially, just everything, really. And I forget where I was going with that, just that it was a complete disaster. And they're isolated, and they remain that way till the wall eventually fell because a GDR representative botched the message, and the populace was already pissed off, and they had been starting to protest and get upset for numerous years, but kind of hit a crescendo. And I guess the guy said basically we're going to start to loosen up the rules and regulations a little bit. But what everyone heard was the walls coming down, and so down it came, because that's the way it was interpreted, and the communication between leadership and the public obviously was botched, but it was also between the leadership and also the guards. The guards got confused as well, and they, I guess, got the message, or thought they got the message, that we need to let the people through. Our top guy has told us that we are letting everyone through, that we're letting the wall fall. So a real wild ending to 28 years of complete oppression and suppression. Incredible. It's a wild story. It's a heartbreaking story. It's really depressing. If you talk about too much, it kind of gets to you. But my experience in Berlin was, it's interesting. The weather was shitty, so that factored in. I wish it had been better, but it's quite a place to visit. If you haven't visited it, I say go for it. You'll see a lot. You'll learn a lot.